and welcome back. Now I have with me the lovely Jackie. Jackie, I'm just going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself real quick.
Absolutely. I'm Jackie Schoemaker Holmes. I'm here today to talk about Girls Inc., which is an organization that I'm really passionate about. And
one of four members.
Yes, one of four members. But we do have a dedicated board that's really wonderful and passionate as well. And I'm here to just talk about sort of my community work and my investment in the community in Leeds and Grenville generally.
So how long have you lived in the area? Are you from here originally?
I am from here originally. I was born and raised, I was born in Brockville because you can't actually be born in Prescott. There's no hospital there. Home births are possible. But I was, born here in Brockville, but raised in Prescott, came to high school here in Brockville, moved away for school, lived on both coasts, so Vancouver and Newfoundland. And I'm happy to say that I've been back for about 12 years now.
You missed it. It called you home, eh?
It does.
It's something that I've heard from a lot of people who are from here. They're born here. They kind of go away for a little bit. They experience a few things, but it always kind of calls them back.
Absolutely. Yeah. I really saw that when I lived in Newfoundland, like the home place, right? It really, there is a calling there.
Yeah.
And it's something that I always felt when I was away, but it was really articulated for me when I lived in Newfoundland because people are just so clear about it being the space of home, right? And it being the actual land and the actual water and it's very much my connection to the river and
yeah, and it's funny because they say that people are from away, right?
Yes,
Brockville has its own version of being from away, I guess.
So.
Yeah, because I'm from away. I'm not from here originally, but I'm very much at home here.
That's wonderful.
And I absolutely adore this community. The first time we ever sat down and talked, it was basically just me gushing for 2 hours over how much I love this town. And I think it's because it reminds me so much of like bits and pieces of everywhere that I've been because I've lived in a lot of places, and Brockville kind of represents a lot of the little things that I loved about all those different places kind of wrapped into one.
That's wonderful.
And so it very quickly felt like home for me anyways, and I know for my family as well. And it's because of organizations like there are just so many amazing organizations in this area that are just trying to kind of uplift the community and do good.
Yes.
Girls Inc. being one of them. And I was talking to Leslie about how impressed I was with the young girls at the breakfast that were talking publicly. They're up there, they're confident, and they're just amazing. And then at one point after the keynote speaker spoke, there was another person who was there for the breakfast took the mic and talked about this notion of being bold as a woman or being too bold, and the idea that a woman maybe should know her place, and that's how she felt, that she should know her place, and she didn't know how to deal with people who called her bold if she didn't know her place. And it's an idea that I'm really happy that you guys are kind of doing away with that idea and fostering confident young women.
Confident young women really, like, they exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're there.
They're there. There's so much, I think that often we get into this mindset of talking about girls or maybe even youth in general for their potential, right?
Yeah.
And what we fail to recognize in that conversation is that they just are so much already, right? And so to be able to invite them into spaces where they get to express that muchness, that boldness, that greatness, that leadership ability, all of these things that they sort of inherently have, but may be encouraged not to express in a variety of different other arenas is very exciting for us, right?
And not just to express, but to celebrate. Like it's celebrated with you guys. When a girl stands up and is bold or has an idea or, she puts herself out there, her peers are encouraging her. They're raising her up. And it's something that I've seen even in the professional sphere and the various jobs that I've had over the years. I don't want, sometimes women have a hard time holding up other women, right? It can be very competitive. And so I think that what you guys are doing by building these relationships and showing girls how to kind of support each other and be inclusive, and it's more than just like biological girls too, right? It's inclusive to everyone who identifies as female or girl. I think it's a really important thing. I think it's important to give those kids a safe place to be themselves, whoever they are.
Absolutely, absolutely, and to be in the world as they want to be, right?
Yeah.
And as you say, be celebrated for that. And I think, when I was the age of the girls that we work with, I was just discovering feminism, and I was discovering sort of like who I am and how I was going to be assertive and bold in the world, and latching on to people and things that were that reinforced that, right? And to be part of an organization that is explicitly feminist, right? That is explicitly intersectional, that is explicitly inclusive, is so important for me because it's in the community in which I grew up in, which was not really as accepting or as open, right?
Yeah.
However many years ago that I was doing this, right? And so to be able to make that contribution, particularly in such an amazing organization, is just, everything that I want.
Yeah, and I know you said the word feminism, and I think of myself, I am a feminist. My husband is as well. I know he's told me that as well. But I feel like it's a word that can have a lot of different meanings, a lot of different connotations for different people. What is your definition? You're PhD, you're a very educated woman. I would love to know how you see feminism, how you see yourself.
I really appreciate that question. So I understand myself as an intersectional feminist, and what that means is that I recognize that people are socially located and have various identities that put them in positions of power and privilege, right? As feminists, we are responsible, right, for demonstrating how those power relationships work and fighting against the marginalization and oppression of various peoples, right?
Yeah.
Ourselves included as women. And so I think it's really, really important that we understand that feminism is about disrupting and deconstructing relationships of power and creating more space in the world for more people that don't look just one particular way.
Yeah. It's about opening your mind up to people who might identify themselves differently, or maybe who have a different idea of fashion, who have a different idea of how to be, and finding that space where everyone can kind of, again, just be, just be themselves, and to encourage each other, and
and to be safe in the world, right?
Yeah.
A lot of what we're talking about often, right? Whether we're talking about violence against women and children, for example, which is disproportionate, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking about violence against trans folks, if we're talking about violence against people of color, right? Like, we're talking about the actual safety, the ability to walk in the world, the ability to be in the world in ways that you can fully express and be fully human and be fully realized in the world, right?
Yeah.
It isn't just about, someone having an opinion. It isn't about debate, right? It's about lives being lived in safety and in peace. And again, going back to your point about being celebrated for who you are and how you express.
And there really isn't enough of that. It's so, I think, because of the way that social media is, and because of, post-pandemic, everybody was kind of shut in for so long. It's very easy to get sucked into that online vacuum, right? and you can and it's everybody is entitled to their opinion, and everyone, you know, we have that platform now where we can give our ideas very freely. I would really love for there to be more, I guess, more understanding and more acceptance, and a lot less judgment when it comes to, and that's really what you guys are getting down to, right? We're celebrating you as the individual. We're celebrating what you're capable of and what you want and who you are. And I just think that these girls are incredible. And I know you're a mom of a daughter. I'm a mom of a daughter and a son, and I'm really hopeful that they can grow up to understand that there is so much positivity in the world. You just have to find it in organizations like what you guys are doing, like Girls Inc.
Absolutely. And I appreciate absolutely what you're saying about social media, because I think that there's sort of, you know, there's a dark side to that. There's a side that aligns with, you know, sort of societal power relations, white supremacy, you know, all kinds of things that we don't want to see in the world, heteropatriarchy, etc. But there is also, right, a real space for resistance, right? And so that's really exciting too, right? One thing, like, social media isn't always about one or the other, right? There are always power relations playing themselves out wherever humans are involved, right?
And so when you can create an organization or create a space where you kind of reclaim that power and share it with future generations of young women who are going to grow up knowing that I can stand up in front of a group and speak my mind, I can give my opinion, I can defend my opinion. And
I have the right to speak.
Exactly.
I have the right to take up space, right?
And to advocate for myself.
And
right?
I think that that's something that, you know, Girls Inc. does really, really well, because we're very intentional about our programming, right? Our programming is evidence-based. It's field-tested. We're not just like doing arts and crafts, and not that arts and crafts aren't important, because they are, and they're part of what we do, right? But what we're doing is really sort of providing girls a chance to be exposed to things that they might not otherwise, you know, to create financial literacy skills, media literacy skills, self-defense skills, right? All of the things.
So important.
All of the things that we need.
Much. Yeah, it's so much, and it's so important. I think it's wonderful, and I really hope that the community can hear this and reach out, and whether it's in a form of a donation or volunteering, I think it would be super helpful. And also getting the girls enrolled, because I think it's amazing. On that note, I want to say thank you for coming. It's always so much fun talking to you. I always learn so much from you, and I appreciate you. And
I appreciate you so much.
Strong, smart, and bold.
Cheers.
To that.